Hey everybody, welcome to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. I am so glad that you're here. I am your host, Nikki T, and I have a very special guest on today. She is one of my clients that has been with me for a very long time, pretty much since the beginning. And we're going to share her story because I think it's really important that you guys hear about her journey through the phases that she went through and also the phases that my business went through. And so we're going to share all that. But before you do listen and lock in, I want you to go over to Weight Loss for Women Over 40/book and grab the 5 reasons that you aren't losing weight over 40. It's a free ebook and you can have access to it there. And also, you will be put on my email list, and that is where all the good stuff happens. That's where you get first notice of everything. So go grab it right now and then we'll come back to the show. All right. So, I want to welcome you, Jessica Castanon. She has been with me, again, like I said, pretty much since the beginning, and my memory is a little foggy. So when we were talking, it was very interesting of her story of how our journeys together have kind of intertwined. So Jessica, I am so grateful that you are here. I can't wait to rehear our story because I'm getting
Yes.
older and apparently my memory is shot. I don't know. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. So, for people that are kind of new to the podcast, and if you are new, welcome. This podcast has been, I started right before COVID hit. So the business of mine from 2006 has really evolved from where it first started. And Jessica can attest to this. I
Yes.
started doing boot camps. Actually, I started
Hmm.
doing online coaching, which I don't think you were a part of, Jessica. But it was like back in the day, and it was like dinosaur computer stuff. It was really time consuming and kind of horrible. And so then I did boot camps.
Yes.
And so Jessica, so tell us kind of your story of how we connected and how you got started working with me.
So I had just started teaching way back when, and I was getting married, and I really wanted to get in shape for my wedding. So first year teaching was super stressful, and I gained a lot of weight, and I wanted to get in shape for my wedding. I had gone up to about 190 pounds, and I really wanted to get in shape. Like every bride, I wanted to look great on my wedding day. So I started doing your boot camps, and we started doing some one-on-one personal coaching, and we started doing what was now the dreaded food logs, and um, and it really did work. I lost 30 pounds with you, and I was just reminding you that you actually did because we had a goal of 160 for my wedding day, and I was going to hit that goal, and I was so close that you said by your wedding day, we're going to hit that goal. And you came the morning of my wedding with your scale. I stepped on that scale the day of my wedding, and I was at 160 on the day of my wedding. So we hit that goal. And
Yeah.
I was super happy. I loved the way I looked in my gown. And we did it. So way back then, I got married in 2008. And so we worked together for a little while, and I lost the weight. As stressful as it was my first year teaching and leading up to that,
Yeah.
that's how we started working together.
And I just want to say too, when you started, I was doing the dieter's mentality crap. Like we were doing the food logging. We were doing probably 1,200 calories. So you're what, 5'1", 5'2", I think.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah. And clearly we live close enough where I can run over on the day of her wedding
Yes.
and weigh her. But I don't do that now. Sorry, that's not a service I provide. But um, back in the day, this is what personal trainers were taught to do and health coaches like, and there still are. So don't think it
Right.
hasn't changed. And what I want to say is, yes, it does work. So you lost 30 pounds, I think you said, for
Right.
the wedding,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And and again, it was the food logging. It was I'm sure I hawked you. Like I probably was like, hey, did you do your workout? Did you food log? Did you like,
Right.
because that's how I was back then. I was very much on top of all my clients in the sense of like, very militant sergeant. And
Yes. You
it
were like me with my
does,
kids with my homework.
yeah. And it does work. So I don't want to invalidate that, but how did you feel? Like, so, well, maybe we can put a pin in this, but like, I want you to compare that version of losing the weight versus what you do now or have done in the past couple years. So we're going to put a pin in that. I'm going to take a note
Mhm.
to talk about the differences, but go ahead and keep going. So you had your wedding day and you're down 30 pounds. Then
30
what?
pounds. Yep. So we got, I got married, and then we continued to work together for a little while. But then I I suffer from a condition called polycystic ovarian syndrome. And basically what happens with someone with my condition is I don't get a period. So my next goal, big goal in life, was to have a family. I really wanted to get pregnant. Um, and unfortunately, for someone, you're going to say something?
I was. Also, I just
Yeah.
want everybody to know PCOS too, clinically speaking, you have a very hard time losing weight. And I put quotes
Correct.
there. Okay.
So for someone with my condition, the hardest thing is you can't lose weight. And the easiest way to lose weight is they tell you to lose weight, which is insane. So to lose weight, you need to lose weight, but you can't do that. So, once you start, they say to get down and then it's easier to lose weight, but you can't lose that initial weight. So, with your condition, to have a baby is really, really hard. So the we tried and we were almost immediately recommended to have fertility treatments because I don't have a period. I don't ovulate. None of that works for me. So my husband and I were recommended to have fertility treatments. So we started pretty quickly. And with the fertility treatments we were doing, we were pretty lucky and we did get pregnant. Um, I guess we got pregnant. So my son was born in 2011. But with all the treatments and the tests and everything, I did stop working out with you just because of all the things we were going through. And, all of they just pump you full of so many hormones and everything.
Yeah.
It wasn't working out with
And I
everything. So,
wait, did you also, I'm
so,
sorry to interrupt you,
oh,
but
sorry.
did you also, was there a time you were taking a metformin, I think? Was that the
Yes.
same
So,
time?
yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, you are on so many medications at that point. You're taking metformin, you're taking,
Mm,
just your body is not your own at that point anymore once you start doing fertility treatments. Now, we were one of the lucky ones with my son. So, our first round with him, we were able to just take the one pill, which, did stimulate me to ovulate. We were able to get pregnant within the first round. But before you do that, you have to have so many tests done.
mhm,
And because what happens with someone with PCOS is usually my body will produce cysts. So I had to have surgeries where they would go in and just clean out my uterus because all of the cysts formed within there. And I was very high rate for miscarriage if I were to get pregnant. Um, but we were really lucky with my son, my first pregnancy. So we did have our first child in August of 2011. So we got married in 2000 in June of 2008, and we had our first child in August of 2011. So we were very lucky. We had our son, um, and we thought, oh, good, it's going to be one of the couples that, while we did have to do fertility treatments, it's not as difficult as some of the other couples. Um, so then we had him, we waited the year because I breastfed him for a year. That's another thing they recommend. It helps to regulate your body during the whole cycle. And then we started this cycle of fertility treatments again after the year.
mm,
Unfortunately, we were not as lucky the second time. We did get pregnant again relatively quickly. Unfortunately, 5 months into the pregnancy, I did lose the baby. Um, and then it was just all downhill from there. We had seven miscarriages in
wow.
between um, our son and then our daughter. We ended up, we did in the Clomid is what got us pregnant with our first son. And then we did Clomid for the second round, got pregnant, lost the baby at 5 months. And then we did more Clomid, we did injectables. We eventually had to do IVF, and we did get pregnant with our daughter. We didn't end up having her until she was born in March of 2015. Now, all of those hormones, all of those stressors, all of that, it's just takes such a toll on your body.
Yeah.
And then the added fun of when I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter, the lovely doctor that we were working with at the time told us that she had passed away. Um, Now you have met or have seen my daughter. My daughter's very much
Wait a
alive and
minute, wait
10
a
years
minute, wait
old
a minute.
now.
The doctor told you the baby had
Yeah,
passed
I don't
away,
know
but
if you,
was
but yeah,
completely wrong?
yeah, she was completely wrong.
How do you,
She's very much alive and
okay,
10 years
but
old now.
yeah, but like, I don't,
So we went in for
this is
our
crazy.
yeah, our monthly, like our, monthly check.
Yeah,
And I was a mess during that whole pregnancy because
I'm
we had so
sure.
many losses in between.
Yeah,
And we went in and they said we can't find a heartbeat. And at this point I had just come to expect that. Because every visit, when
yeah,
you've had so many losses, you just expect every visit for them you're just waiting for them to say your baby is no longer alive. Like when and I can talk about it now because we're so many years past all this.
yeah, but
But
still, the emotional toll that you had 7 miscarriages.
hmm So you really do. You really just expect every visit for them just to say, I'm sorry, your
Right.
baby is gone.
Mm.
And so
Okay.
this visit, that was it. I was like, all right, this is the one where they just tell me. And I was 7 months pregnant at this point. And so at that point, you can feel the baby. So I go in, we go to the hospital, and they said, I'm sorry, your baby's gone. And I said, but I could feel the baby. They're like, no, I'm sorry, those are phantom movements. The baby is no longer alive. I was like, okay. And my mom said well, and at that point, they have to have somebody come from ultrasound down to sign off on because
Hmm.
thank God they can't just deliver, but they had checked us in. They were ready to deliver the baby. And they, the woman who came down, she was funny. She was, and I judge no one, but she had tattoos from here everywhere. She had a shaved head. She just, came off an aura of someone who was tough. Um, and she came in. She was the one that was going to sign off to have my baby delivered. She came in and she put the wand on my stomach, and I could see the little blinking thing. And I go, what's that? And she goes, that's your baby's heartbeat. I was like, yeah, I told you guys my baby was alive. And she's like, I don't cry. And you guys almost have me crying right now. So yeah, they almost
Wow.
delivered my fully alive 7 month baby. Like,
Wow.
so
That,
yeah.
so, okay, I just want to say as a caveat. Now, I think the doctors have their place, but they
Hmm.
are not all knowing.
Oh,
And they misdiagnose a lot. I've had my
hmm.
own personal experiences where they have misdiagnosed things of my kids or things of me, things
Yeah.
in pregnancy.
Hmm.
So always get a second opinion. This
I
is
said,
everybody. I'm not
question
talking to
everything.
you, Jessica,
Yeah.
but like
Everybody
everybody.
question everything
Question
because
everything. Yeah.
they almost delivered my baby who she's now running around 10 years old now.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
but
That's insane.
I switched doctors, and they usually will not let you switch at seven
I
months.
think you
But
have a
I
valid reason at that point.
switched doctors the next day,
Oh my gosh.
switched hospitals, switched everything. Um, but yeah, so like by that point, my emotion, like
Yeah.
I was just a mess. So by the time I delivered her, by the time everything was over, I had climbed up to 250 pounds. And as you mentioned before, I'm 5'1". So 250 pounds on a woman who is 5'1",
Yeah.
it was not good. When I was pregnant with her, I had gestational diabetes. They told me if I didn't get the weight off, I was destined for diabetes. My dad has diabetes. All of my grandparents have diabetes. Like it was just, I needed to do something. Um, so I was not in the mental headspace at the time when she was delivered, or even a year or so after.
Mhm.
But then I knew, like, it was one point where I wanted to put her on my lap, and there was just no lap to put her on because I had gotten so large.
Mm.
Um, but everything I'd been through with all of the losses, with what that pregnancy looked like, I just needed to come back. So at that point, I said, I know where I can go to get myself back in shape. And that's when I said, it's time to come back. Um, so I came back. I started working with you again. and I lost, it was 85, 90 pounds. So I was up at 250 and I came back down. Yeah, so I was 90 because I came back down to 160. Um, and it was, just the greatest thing I did for my body because if I had stayed that course, I was just destined for so many medical problems. And, you know, I I worked so hard for those kids. I worked, you know,
Mm-hmm.
everything I went through, everything my family and I went through, it's just it would have been insane for all I put myself through, all of and it's funny because I can talk about it obviously now and laugh about it and without not without emotion, but I can sit here and talk to you guys about everything I went through and kind of be removed from it. But
Yeah.
obviously, as I went through all those things and that journey, it it it, it changed me. It was heartbreaking. It was painful. And why would I have gone through all of that to just be so sick and not be able to take care of my kids and not
Right.
be there for them because the path I was headed down was not healthy. And I wasn't able to go on walks with them. I wasn't able to let them sit on my lap. I wasn't able to carry them. I wasn't able to do anything with them. So I needed to change for them. And working with you, was able to give me my life back, was able to give them the mom that they deserved. So, you know, that's what your program does is gives you back your life. And so that's when I lost that 90.
Yeah, and when you lost that, it was 2018 for those of you paying attention to the timeline here. So 2018, because we had to write this down.
Yes.
2018, actually, Jessica was one. So back in that time, I was doing private training and I was also
Hmm.
doing boot camps here and there. But I was also, and I was doing online training as well. But I started sprinkling in around 2014 the mindset stuff.
Yes.
And most of my clients, they kind of knew, but it was like I was taking, like I wasn't saying, hey, we're going to do mindset work, right? It was just us having conversations about, hey, what's going on, that kind of thing. And I think that in that gestational period for my business and doing that mindset work was a big shift for you because you had done the dieter's mentality and you had been successful. And to have gone through what you had went through is like mindset minefield. Like it shatters your soul because it's
Yes.
so devastating, right? And it's traumatic. That's traumatic. um so when I talk about mindset, like these are the things that I think are really important for people to understand, because you can do the dieter's mentality and yes, you can get down to the body that you want, but when that thing happens, whether it's miscarriages, whether it's a divorce, whether whatever it is, the mindset that you have is running on default. And automatically, if your default is gain weight because I'm going to emotionally eat, I'm going to check out, whatever it is, of course, it's not going to be sustainable. So this is why I love that I brought you on and to tell your story, because it is the mindset work that helps you keep it off. And in 2018, I had, I forget which number you were, if you were the third one or the fourth one, but every year I did this like client of the year thing. And I think
Hmm.
you were the third. And I think
I
you
think
might
so.
have been the
Yeah.
last one too, for various reasons. But I'm going to put the link in the show notes if you guys want to check this out. It's on my old channel on YouTube, but it was so much fun because we did a photo shoot and you got your hair chopped
I
and
did.
blonde. Like
I did.
the fact that because I remember watching you with the hairdresser and I was like, oh my gosh, is she gonna love this or hate this?
I loved
Um,
it. It
but and
stayed
we
blonde.
Yeah, and it did. And so we did a photo shoot and we have incredible photos from that day. It was such a fun day. And I was so honored that I could make you the client of the year because you did such a phenomenal job, right? So like me as a coach and a trainer, I'm like, I don't feel like I can take all the credit, right? I'm giving you the framework, but you actually have to do what you got to do in order to get that body. So So 2018, you lost, I believe it was 85 pounds, and then you were like, no, it's actually 90. Like,
Yeah.
okay. And then so COVID hit.
Yes.
What happened in COVID?
So COVID hit, and then so my job at the time, I was a librarian, and I was making all the great choices, mindset. Like I obviously I'd gone through so much with the fertility and everything, but with Nicole, with the coaching, with everything, like I had gotten myself into a really good mindset, and then the whole world changed and I got pulled from my job as a librarian to teach kindergarten, which I had never taught before. And not just kindergarten, but online kindergarten for 75 children.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So I I take a lot of pride in what I do in my job. So if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it really well. Um, and it was a really big challenge for me because like I said, I'd never taught kindergarten before. And so I was trying to learn how to teach kindergarten. I think I was sleeping maybe 2 hours a night. I was sitting in probably this chair right here for like 22 hours a day. Um, I was trying to come up with these crazy lessons, like so much energy because these kids, I just felt so bad for them. Um, they were home, they were babies, they were these 5-year-olds who had never gone to school before. And it was me. I was trying to teach them. I was, you know, it was such a
Yeah. I think
bizarre
at that
time in our
point,
lives.
kindergarten should have been just like, come on, just get a coloring book and
Right. Like
yeah.
it was just, I didn't know what I was doing. Before I was a librarian, I taught third, fourth, and fifth grade. And I'll never forget my boss calling me and him saying, I need you to teach online this year. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. Because I'm always that person, like, okay, give me a challenge.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, great. I've taught third, fourth, and fifth grade. And before that, I taught middle school. I said, what do you want me to teach? Third, fourth grade? He said, kindergarten online. You have 75 kids. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, all
And
right,
you
let's do this.
also, your kids, you were helping your kids do school
Right. I
and
had
they
my
were,
daughter was in kindergarten, my son was in fourth grade. Like
yeah.
it was, and my husband is a restaurant manager. So he was one of the essential workers. He was never here. So it was just me, the kids, and
75
we
other
did
kids.
not know COVID was going to happen. So we had just gotten a puppy. So we had a
Oh,
puppy. So yeah, it was
a lot.
so I did not move. I just was exhausted and I am high energy with the kids all the time. So I just sat here. I did not move. I did not work out. And it's funny because I know we all felt the same way. We're always like, if we could just stay home for like a month, we would all be in shape. We would all
Yeah.
like, right?
But
Like
yeah,
before
but
COVID
you
hit,
were teaching 75 little kids with the attention span of 2 seconds, right? So
right. But
like,
before COVID hit, we all used to say that all the time, right? Like if we
yeah,
could just stay home for a month, we would all be in shape. We would all like know how to speak 17 languages, like right.
yeah,
And then
no.
COVID hit, and we were like, what were we thinking? Like, no. So I started gaining the weight back. And when we went back to work and we were in the classrooms, I teach 45 minutes away, and this was baffling to me. They would make me drive to work to sit in a classroom by myself
Hmm.
with the 75 kids online. Um, so I would drive there and I would sit in this classroom and I would sit and sit and sit. And then I would come home and then I would sit here and I would like it was just thinking about it stresses me out. But I started gaining the weight back and I was so stressed, but I just did not have the time to work out. And my stress was starting to kick back in and I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I just didn't know how to stop myself. So I was eating poorly. I was sitting here and I started to gain the weight back. So once I finally, was like, I need to do something about this and I was able to catch myself back up, what was my first call? Hey, Nicole, help me out here. So I gained like 25 of the pounds back. So I was like, what program are we doing now? How can we help me out here? So I jumped into the program that she was doing and I love this program because it's even more like focused
The jump
on,
start. Yeah.
yeah, the
Hmm.
the mental health part of it, like let's figure this out. And I think that's really what, and all of the programs that I've done with you have been great. But I think that this, really focusing on both the, you know, the mental part of it as well as like the physical is what I need, because they really do go hand in hand for me. And figuring out like why I do things. And there are so many times where I've in like our group things where I'm like, oh my goodness, this is why I do this. This is why I've had such a problem with this, or this is why I've done this my whole life. This is it. This is There's so many aha moments. And I remember even like the one time in a recent thing, I was like, my husband was doing something, and I was it was something with my son, and I was like, it
Oh
was an
yeah.
aha moment for him, for me, for him, for my son. And it's just, it really is just such a great program for me to figure out so many things, because I don't think I ever realized how much my health and wellness and my weight and all of that go hand in hand in hand, and how much it's all linked to your past, your present, and so much. And I just love that piece of it, just like tying it all together and working with other people and having them have their aha moments together with me. And then you're like, oh, like when they have an aha moment that links to one of your aha moments and it helps you to like unravel it together. It
Yeah.
really is just, I love that part of it.
Yeah, I actually hear that a lot from clients, and this is so on my end, what the bottom line is that you guys think that you are special snowflakes and that you all have like this this weird thing. And the irony is that you all have the same thing. It just shows up, like I say, it's a different flavor, right? It just shows up in
Yeah.
a different way in your life. But I think so. What Jessica is talking about is the Jumpstart program, which when she joined, we were doing a 12-week Jumpstart program, which I had done successfully in the past. And now that Jumpstart is you can join at any time you want. It's kind of self-directed in the video vaults, but then we have weekly group coaching calls if you go that route, and a community that you can kind of interact in also. But the the thing is that once you're in the group and you see that other people are having the same things, it's so eye-opening and it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not crazy. Oh, this is normal, right? Because
Mhm.
again, our generation that grew up in the dieter's mentality of like eat a Tic Tac and do 6 hours of cardio, right? We have been conditioned to think that that is the way to do it, and that is the only way to do it, to sacrifice and grit your teeth and use ungodly willpower the entire time. And if you're not struggling, you're not doing it right. And again, so from what Jessica did in the beginning versus what she does now, like um my coaching style, right? So when you came back in that 2017, 18, when you lost all those 90 pounds, I was still like a baby mindset coach at that point, right? I was
Right.
still in infant stage of kind of understanding how exactly this fits into losing weight. So now, fast forward, how many years? 10, 11?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yes.
So time just goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've got a handle on it. I get it. Like, this is my genius zone. I get it. I can clearly see what's going on behind what people are saying, and I can pinpoint it a lot faster than I could back in 2017. So I love that we're kind of sharing your journey because you are the perfect example of like, this is what, worked in the early days, but because of the things that you went through, I mean, COVID was an experience for all of us, and
Hmm.
and everybody has their journey. Some people loved it, right? Some loved it, meaning they got to stay home and they didn't have
Right.
kids and that kind of thing. And some people were in it deep, and you got variations in between. But again, it's all about the mindset. It's all about what you think about yourself, how you navigate the things that come into your life, and how that translates into how you look at your body. What are you eating? Are you emotionally eating? Like, what's going on? Because especially in the 40s and 50s, you ladies think, oh my gosh, it's my hormones. It's all, and it's starting up here, right? Hormones
Yes.
are
Hmm.
changing, but there's a lot going on upstairs that just need to be cleaned out and kind of reorganized, right? For lack of a better
Right. Yeah.
word. So explain to people the difference that you feel from when you first lost those 30 pounds before your wedding versus now being in the Jumpstart group, and you're now in the group program, which is the group coaching calls that we have weekly, along with the private group where we can chat and things like that. So can you kind of tell everybody your experience, from that pre-wedding to like how different it is for you now? Not necessarily, more like on an emotional level and mindset, all that.
I think like the original, I felt like alone on an island. Like, when I did, it was more stressful too, because not that I ever lied on those food logs.
Uh-huh.
I definitely, I
You're
definitely lied
probably
on
not
those
the only
sometimes.
client that did that.
But no, because like, and as a teacher, I know that my kids definitely cheated on their homework sometimes. So like,
Right, because
you
if you
know,
don't write it down, it doesn't happen, right? It's like,
right, exactly. But sometimes too, I'd be like, I know I was supposed to like fill out this food log yesterday, but I don't remember what I ate yesterday and I forgot to do it. So I'm
yes,
sure I ate something like
which
this. So I
is
would fill it out.
one of the reasons I love that there are no foods off limits. We do not food log anymore. I don't do any of that stuff. It's such
Right.
a pain in the butt.
S-
Like,
Right. So
so much
it
better.
wasn't, sometimes it wasn't even that I didn't didn't want you to know what I ate. I just didn't remember and I hadn't, it wasn't something bad. It was just I forgot. And like it was due the next morning, just like any, college kid or student in my class. I just forgot and it was due. So I had to do it because I'm a good student.
Mhm.
Um and but then again, like I said, it was stressful and it had to be done and it was like something to check off and um you had to get it done but also it was you were alone and you you had to write it down so also you felt like, all right, can I eat this? Is Nicole going to be happy that I ate this?
Mm-hmm.
There was that judgment zone.
Mm-hmm.
I want
There,
to eat this, but I
yeah.
know I can't because I have to write it down. So then if you did eat it, you beat yourself up and you were disappointed in yourself. And then you beat yourself up some more until then you ate 17 Oreos because you were so mad at yourself because whatever. And then you felt bad about the Oreos and it was just this shame spiral. But it's not like that now because, if I did eat something, not, I don't want to say that I can't because I can eat whatever I want, but, it's, I am in control of what I want to eat and what I don't want to eat. And I don't feel bad about what I eat, because I know what I'm supposed to
How
be
to do.
doing. And
Yeah.
it's
I'm
a whole
glad.
different mentality of how I feel about food. I don't have the same, shame in eating. And
Yeah.
it wasn't you that put the shame on me. It's the the world that used to put it on me.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad you brought this up because I feel like this is a big thing in the coaching client relationship of especially as a personal trainer because there's this element of like, oh my gosh, what is she going to think? What is her judgment of like me on the client? And you're not the first person to kind of bring that up. And what I love about how different it is now, it's I give you guys agency over what you are doing, and I don't judge you.
Right,
I have no judgment whatsoever because I understand that when you're feeling that way or when you're feeling shame and guilt about whatever you ate or whatever you did or didn't do, it's not me. It's your default patterning. It's what's you're operating on. So, and I know exactly, I'm like, okay, we can totally fix that because if it's me, you have no control over me. You know what I'm saying? So like now you've given me all the power up to whether or not you succeed. And that's not the way clients are successful. Clients are successful when they take agency and ownership 100% of like, no, this is what I'm doing. I ate 17 Oreo cookies and I'm okay with it, right? Or
right,
whatever it is. And
right,
I work with clients, like to understand the framework because if you're in the dieter's mentality, you're probably like, I don't get this. I don't understand how on earth you get them to get the body that they want. Again, it's all mindset stuff. It's not about what you are or aren't eating. It's the mindset first. Then
right.
everything else falls into place. So yeah, awesome.
I had ice cream at the Phillies game this weekend and I don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
but before, like, if I had ice cream at the Phillies game, I would have been like, I hope that post didn't go on Facebook and Nicole doesn't see me having eating ice cream on at the Phillies game on Sunday, and she's gonna be so mad at me. But like I'm
Yeah, and
totally fine.
honestly, the trainer that I was back in the day, I probably would have been like, "What are you doing?
Right? Why is she doing
Why?"
that?
Yeah, no, now I'm like,
You
"Go
gotta
for
run
it.
six
Have
laps.
it."
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Right. Um,
but
yeah, because again, my journey is reflective in my clients because I did teach the diet mentality stuff and I can't change it because that's how I was taught. But I'm so glad and so grateful for how it has evolved over the years and how it's really changed. Because I feel like this is the secret sauce. This is how you get the body that you want and not hate yourself the entire journey to that.
right,
And you get to eat whatever the hell you want. So
right.
bonus, bonus, bonus.
And the other thing is, before I would have been hating myself the whole time I ate that ice cream. But this, I said, I'm enjoying it and I'm going to enjoy it while I eat it. And I'm not going to hate myself for it.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it has nothing to do with the food. It's the mental stuff that's
It,
going on in your brain. And
right.
and we were conditioned that way to be like, oh my gosh, if I eat that ice cream, I'm gonna have to be on the treadmill for 6 hours, or I'm gonna really regret this, but I really want it. It's that ping pong match in your head of like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I?
hmm
Yeah, it's such a hot mess. I love that I found mindsets for myself and my own
hmm
journey, and I am so grateful that I get to share it with everybody else because it really is life-changing. It really just it's so eye-opening. Because
hmm
once you see what Dyer's mentality is, you can't unsee it.
Yep.
And you'll hear people are saying stuff, and you're like, oh my God, like nails on a chalkboard, right? It's just
hmm
makes you want to cringe.
And I ate that ice cream and I am at the lowest weight I've been probably in my adult life. So,
Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. So
hmm
your highest weight you were at was 250.
correct.
And then you zigzagged.
Yes.
And somewhere around 2008, 2018, it was 90 pounds, and then you went back up. And now we talked about this off camera, is your stick point
hmm
was 160. And we talked about this
160.
in,
I've never, it's like that weight that it was like, no, my body was like, no, you're not allowed to go below that number. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
If you guys go back into my podcast, it's called The Edge Number.
hmm
I don't know what the title is. I really should catalog my podcast. But anyway, go back and just binge listen to all of them. But
That's right.
it's yeah. So it's the edge number. It's that number that you think you can't get below, and everybody has it.
hmm
And for Jessica, it was 160. And now
hmm
you're 170, 170, 157. A
57.
little dyslexia there for a second. 157. So you are
Yes.
below your 160 stick point. So that stick
Yes.
point doesn't exist anymore.
Gone. Yes, it's
And
gone.
7 more pounds, you are down 100
A
pounds.
100 pounds.
Yeah. Yay. Again, really. I mean, because you lost the 90. And
Yeah,
then,
I'm below that 90 now.
yeah,
Because that
yeah.
90 would have been is the 160.
Oh, right. Okay. So 250, 150. Thank
hmm
you for keeping my math skills on. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with somebody who maybe is like on the fence about looking at the Jumpstart program or the whole? So again, there's some been tweaks with my program. So Master Your Mind to Change Your Body is the overarching. So if you want that with every bells and whistle and all the things you possibly could have, do that. But the Jumpstart is where you go in for 12 weeks. It's really focused on 12 weeks and losing at least 10 pounds as you go through that process. But anything you want to share?
It's really, I just want to say, like, it's a different program. I mean, before I worked with Nicole, I've tried every program under the sun. Like, I've tried them all. And it's just that her programs are different because it combines like pieces that other programs don't. And um, it's that mental piece that the other programs really just don't know how to incorporate. And I get toned on this program. Like there's the my body never looks so good. The mental piece where she really like there's tears. It's like an inward look into yourself that no one else can do. Um, and it makes you like look at things that you never have with other weight loss programs. And it just really like there's no other way to describe it other than it's almost like a therapy piece with weight loss that helps you to understand why you do the things you do and helps you to overcome those things so you don't do them anymore. And there's no other weight loss program like it because, there are things in my life that I was doing for years and years and years. And I was like, well, it's just the way I was either raised. That's the way I've always done it. And Nicole's like, well, why? Why?
Yeah, why do you do
And
that?
well, we're going to stop you from
If
doing
it's
that.
not
And
working,
and
why
she
do you keep doing it?
right. And like she's going to make you. So, you know, it's the only program that I've ever been successful on. And it's why I keep coming back because it, even if, there are things in your life, like obviously I've had major life experiences that have caused me to gain weight back. And I come back because I know that this is what's going to make me successful again. There's, there are going to be things in your life that happen, but if you want to lose the weight and you want to lose it for good, this is where you need to be because this is different than other programs. Other programs are going to just, maybe give you a little bit of fluff or something. This is not a fluff program that is going to leave you out to dry. Like Nicole is going to be here for you. She is going to make you reach your goals. Like this is different than other programs.
Yeah,
So
and just as a side note, when she says make you, I don't force anybody to do anything.
she's not gonna like beat you
Beat
up, but
you
like
down.
she's gonna
No.
like she's gonna ask you the questions that you're like, okay,
Yeah, it
you're
really, I feel like it's
right.
like cracking open an egg, and just
Yeah.
really kind of diving in and figuring out what is stopping you from getting you the body that you want, right?
I mean, ultimately it's
Um,
your job, but like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
taking ownership,
it's
of course.
yeah. She's gonna
Um,
ask those questions and then it's your job ultimately, but it's just tough.
yeah, and I just want to say as a coach, stick with it because there are a lot of tissue moments. There are
Yeah, there
there are
are.
some tears.
I would say
Um,
there's some tears in this program,
Yeah, but they're
but
they're
good
so
tears.
cathartic. And honestly, I mean,
Hmm.
even from my own working with coaches myself on, business or personal stuff, I feel like when you get to that emotional level of like, now granted, if you listen to my podcast, I am like never cry, like that kind of thing ever. And but what I found was the more emotional you get and the more vulnerable you get, the faster your results are in whatever it is that you're
Hmm.
working on, whether it's weight loss or
Yeah.
something else. And I also want to say too, again, because I've kind of changed the delivery program of the Jumpstart, what I love too is now that the group coaching calls are like on a monthly, well, they're every week, but you can be in month by month. Um, I think that that is a beautiful thing because as people go through, you can kind of pop in and be like, "Hey, I need this." Do you know what I mean? Especially you have to go through the Jumpstart program in order to even have access to get into the group calls. But having that available to you where you can just pop in and be like, hey, I need coaching on this, and then do your thing and then come back whenever it is that you feel is necessary. I love that I've changed that because before it was in the framework of 12 weeks, and that was the only time you had access to me, or if you were doing private coaching. Um, so I think that is super helpful and one of the things that have changed. And also, all the information that you guys need is at your fingertips. It's in a video vault. It's in a library. It's housed for you to peruse and reperuse as much as you want to. So you can really dive in and get all those juicy nuggets and stuff. And anything you're having a stick point with, you bring it to the group coaching calls.
I will say that too, though. While I say she'll make you, it's only as much as you get out of it is what you put into it. So if you're not like showing up and you're not doing it,
Yeah.
it's not going to work
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's for anything. I mean, you have to show up. And here's the beauty. Again, I I can't even say like I feel like this was given to me like as a download or as like divine intervention. I don't know what, but the way that this program is framed, it really sets you up for success, right? And again, it's self-paced a little bit more, so you get to go in and again take agency and take ownership of, yes, I'm getting what I came for. Because if you follow the things that I teach and you're open to coaching, there's no way you can't lose weight. Like
Right.
it literally is, it's simple, it's uncomplicated because the dieter's mentality is so complex and they make it sound so complicated and everything. And honestly, the if you want to call it complicated, it's what's going on up here, right? The
Yeah.
food and the workouts, they're not complicated. I know you think you want them to be, not you, Jessica, but like everybody listening.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's not that. It's the mindset work that needs to be framed up first. It's like putting the cement on your house, for the basement. You can't have a if you have a crappy foundation, your house is going to fall. So
Right.
take the time to build that foundation correctly. I've been watching a lot of HGTV lately, so there you go. Okay, so I know this podcast episode is running a little longer than usual, and that's okay because I want to do the lightning round with Jessica. I
All
haven't,
right. I'm
I
ready.
so if you guys, for you long listeners of the podcast, when I did have guests on, I would always do a lightning round at the end. So we're gonna do one for Jessica. They're just quick, snappy questions. All right, Jessica, coffee or tea?
Neither.
I knew
I
it.
don't like hot beverages.
Okay, what cold cold beverages do you like?
I like to just water with lemon, a little bit. If I'm like, I'm very boring. Water with lemon.
I
I don't
think
like
that's
coffee.
not boring. All right, so
Yeah,
we're gonna give you another one. If
okay,
you could
sorry. I don't.
only choose one song to play every time you walked into a room for the rest of your life, like an intro song, what would it be?
Oh, let's say maybe Dancing Queen. I'll come into Dancing Queen.
Love it.
Ready?
Dancing Queen. Okay. Um, what was your first job?
My first job is I worked as I guess that you would call me a nanny. I babysat for a family of four, and they were like all a year apart, 4 nights a week for 4 hours each time. The family owned a grocery store. Yeah, it was intense.
I bet, especially only a year apart. All right,
Yeah, they
one
were
more.
a lot
If you could pick a superpower, which superpower would it be?
to fly.
I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, because I want to get to work faster. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, I
Um,
just want to fly around and see everything. If I
I
could
don't
just
like commuting
fly.
anymore. It's
Yeah, I don't
45
blame
minutes
you. I
away.
do not blame you. I've been having to do some travel recently, and whenever I get stuck in traffic, I'm like, this is why I work from home.
Stop texting and driving people.
Yeah,
I'm tired of it.
yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, I want
Well,
to
Jessica,
fly.
yeah, flying would be awesome. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your
Thanks for
journey with
having me. That was fun.
everybody. That was fun. And as a side note for everybody listening, if you want access to Crush Your Cravings, it's on sale. It's only $7 right now. And I'll tell you, I don't know when this is coming out, to be honest with you, but definitely go grab it. It's at Weight Loss for Women over 40, 40 at the end, .net/crush. This is going to be a game changer for you. It is not like your traditional emotional eating, get the food out of the house kind of stuff. And Jessica has taken the Crush Your Cravings course, but I'm
Yes.
making it even meatier and even better than when you took it, Jessica. So if anybody wants to grab that, go to weightlossforwomen over 40.net/crush. And you can come stalk me on any of my social medias. I would love to engage with you over on Facebook, on my personal page, on Instagram at Weight Loss for Women Over 40, TikTok, Weight Loss for Over 40, and YouTube at the same. All right. That's a wrap for today because this is probably the longest podcast I've done in a while, which is all good. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode and remember to hit subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Everyone.